I did a 3-hour-long float a couple of weeks ago, just after Christmas, in a sensory deprivation tank, an isolation tank, a place called Cloud9 Float Center in Boulder, here in Colorado. And if you don't know what a sensory deprivation tank is, never seen one or been in one, what it basically is a tank full of water, which is warmed up to body temperature. And there are about 650 pounds of Epsom salts dissolved into the water, which means that when you lie in it, you float. And you experience this kind of weightlessness. You get in there naked, and you have the opportunity in the dark and in the quiet to totally relax, to let go, to meditate, to get very still, to get very peaceful. And one of the things that happens, and what happens for me, is that you get ideas. So I was in there for 3 hours. I'd never been in there for that long before. And I had a few really good ideas, I thought. But one of them is that starting this year, starting today, starting now, I want to do a weekly update, a video and audio update of around 5 to 10 minutes, no longer than that if I can help it. And the update will be about a project that I've been working on called A Theory of Everybody. I've shared a bit about it with a few people. I have a website up at theoryofeverybody.com, but I've never really talked about it officially or publicly. I haven't announced it, and I don't even intend to announce it with this particular update. But the idea is that this coming year, every Monday, sometime in the morning or afternoon, I'm going to record a video and post it online to talk about what we're doing, what's going on, what's coming up, what we're working on in this project, A Theory of Everybody. So what's the project about? A Theory of Everybody is what we're calling a platform for social poetics and planetary thought. Okay, that's kind of high concept. So practically speaking, it's a platform for publishing original writing, audio and video, and for hosting conversations, for creating community around ideas, around art, around poetry, around social issues, around philosophical questions, around inquiry. And the first project we're launching is a book club. It's called litgeeks, litgeeks Book Club. And I've given it this cute subtitle called An Unusually Hardcore Book Club. Hardcore because the purpose of the book club is to go deep into challenging texts in any genre, really. Philosophy, fiction, science, sociology, critical theory. We're very open about genre. But the method is to go deep and to not only engage the text, but to engage each other on the basis of that shared experience of reading the text. And I've found through previous book clubs that this could be a really amazing and enjoyable and powerful way to not only experience a work of art or a work of literature or work of thinking, but also to relate with other people. So we started the book club unofficially last month with a reading of a novel by Ursula K. Le Guin called The Dispossessed. It was really cool, an amazing novel. I loved it, and we had, I think, a good time, the few of us that participated. It was meant to be a private, small beta test, just so that we can get our systems in place and know that we knew what we were doing with our format and so forth. And we learned a lot, and I think it went really well. And we recorded a couple of hangouts where we discuss the novel, which you can find, which I'll tell you about in just a moment. But our first official reading, what we were preparing for with the beta test, our first official reading is a reading of a work of philosophy by a 20th century German philosopher and poet named Jean Gebser. The book is called The Ever-Present Origin. And it's a substantial work. It's 600 pages or so. It's fairly dense, but it's a text that is not only philosophical but also mystical and also poetic. And it's addressing what Gebser calls a crisis that we are facing in our civilization at this time, which is not just a crisis ecologically or economically or socially or materially, but also a crisis of consciousness. So the book looks at, and what Gebser does, he examines the history of human consciousness from archaic times to modern times to uncover what are the deep structures that can be discerned and how have they changed over time and what's emerging now that may be more adequate to the reality that we're facing of an interconnected world, a planetary civilization. And I'm very excited to start this reading. I'm going to be working on it with my friend and colleague Jeremy Johnson. We're going to be hosting this reading together starting next week. And so that's my first announcement, is that if you're potentially interested in learning more about this reading that we're calling Winter of Origins, echoing the title of the book, The Ever-Present Origin, Winter of Origins, go to litgeeks.com and you could read more about it there and sign up if you're interested. We're going to be reading the book over a period of 9 weeks, beginning January 11th and going until March 19th. So that's the big announcement, is go to litgeeks.com and check out Winter of Origins. And if you're interested, sign up. When you do, you'll go through a little sign-up process. We've made it interesting, I hope. We ask 3 questions, and that's just to get to know you a little better. And then we'll also optionally offer you the opportunity to contribute to what we're calling a gift economy that we're creating as part of this larger Theory of Everybody project. The idea being that we want to sustain ourselves in working on this full time, and we want to also make it possible to support other writers, artists, and contributors in sharing their work on the platform, or in hosting conversations, or in doing other things that are related to our ultimate mission. I want to also announce that since we've had our registration open, we've had over 100, I think 120 or so people sign up. So assuming a few of these people actually read the book, that's going to be awesome. We've also had 19 donations. I want to thank everybody who contributed. We've raised about $450 at this point, which is wonderful. It's a great start. And that's completely optional. This is a free reading. We are doing it because we want to do it, because we want to read this book and we want to read it with people like you. And so if you can help out. If you don't want to yet or can't yet, or you're just not sure yet, that's totally fine. The idea of a gift economy is that we're offering ourselves and our work as gifts. That is to say, freely. And that's all there is to it. We're going to do that as long as we can sustain it. And when we can't sustain it anymore, then we'll stop doing it. But if it's something that you want to participate in and help out with, then we want to enable you to do so. And we want you to feel free to give or not. So that's what we're working on. So coming this week, in advance of the kickoff of the book club next week, there's a couple things I want to draw your attention to. One is that in a couple days, Wednesday or Thursday, we will be releasing a podcast that Jeremy and I recorded, where we go a lot more in depth into what we're really wanting to do with this book club and with the larger Theory of Everybody project, and why specifically we want to read The Ever-Present Origin. So be on the lookout for that. And the other is that I wrote a blog post. I actually wrote it a couple of months ago, but it's online at theoryofeverybody.com/blog. And that blog post is called The Left-Hand Path of integral thinking. And in it, I reflect upon my experience of the latest conference that I attended, the Jean Gebser conference back in October, and about what this idea of integral consciousness might mean differently, seen through or experienced through the experience through Gebser's text vis-a-vis the more popular current understandings of integral, which are coming out of integral theory and Ken Wilber's work. So I compare and contrast the two and try to appreciate them both, as well as point out where I think the limits of each may be. So check that out at theoryofeverybody.com/blog. All right. I wanted to keep these updates to 5 to 10 minutes, and I've been actually recording this in a few different takes today, and it's gone on quite a bit longer than I expected it to. But the point of doing it is to do it. And I'm going to come back next week, do another update. If you join any of the mailing lists, you'll also get updates. But here you'll get to kind of hear me at the beginning of the week, tell you kind of what's coming up and what I'm thinking about, what I'm reading, what some of the discussions may be that are going on in the book club or in the journal that will be coming up or on the podcast or in some of the other areas, the gift economy and so forth. And what else do I have to say? I think that's it. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the book club. All right, bye-bye, and Happy New Year.